So awesome to be here with you, man.
Thank you, my friend.
This is amazing. You called VeeCon the career-defining conference of your life. That's a pretty astounding statement, considering everything you've done. How does it feel to finally be here?
It feels rewarding. Emotional, good. I feel really good. I have a lot of friends and family here, which really triggers me in the feels. And I'm just, I'm proud. You know, I call it a career definer because I've always wanted to do it. You know, by the second or third year I went to South by Southwest, I was like, I'm gonna do one of these, you know? And I'm obviously a long ways away from South by at this point, but I think we're on our way.
Absolutely, man. Let's talk origin story for a second, okay? This idea intersects with VeeFriends in a really significant way, but was VeeCon an idea before VeeFriends came about, or did it intersect with it? How did that all come to be?
Buying an intellectual property that had lost its way, Gumby, Rocky and Bullwinkle, Gem, was always on my mind. Even as my career started getting better and bigger, I was like, ooh, maybe I can afford Thundercats one day. You know, like it was always on my mind. Or brands. What you see now with Crocs, right? Crocs, super hot 20 years ago. Dead as a doorknob. Didn't see anybody wear Crocs for a minute. Now all the way back. I started VaynerMedia to be a machine to be able to be good at that. So so that was on my mind. Then the South by thing. One day I'll throw a conference, and I got close. I throw like small little, real estate agent thing once, and it was in the air. So the answer to your question is, both those energies have been in my mind for almost 20 years. When NFTs entered, that became the framework that accelerated both's reality. The first one changed a little bit. I decided to create one versus buying one. And this one is now obviously very real. This is it, VeeCon is here. It's
right behind you. It is amazing. We did NFT LA very recently. Our team did, and I tell you, man, seeing that idea become reality was just a special moment, dude. So congrats on this. This is amazing.
Thank you.
So let's talk future of VeeCon. We got a couple more years on the docket here. How do you envision those going? Locations, ideas, concepts, like what's on your mind?
You know, it's fun to see in my eyesight, my friend Lugino, I threw a wine event many years ago. Actually in October of 2001, right after 9/11. I remember, really debating if it needed to be canceled because it was mid-October, and I decided somewhere in late September that I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep it. Maybe people need this wine event. It's a charity wine event for Susan Komen breast cancer. I'm like, let me do good, right? Yeah. What's the best you can do when people are down? I remember throwing that event, and I remember my dad coming in, like we set it all up, we launched, and my dad got there about 20 minutes into the event. And my dad was so stunned that everybody at that event was there. He actually didn't understand. He was like, so wait, what other event is going on? Because he didn't understand how big, the event would be. The reason I say it's fun to see my friend Lou there, because he was there, and he was there the next year. The biggest jump in the 15-year history of that wine event was from year 1 to 2. Because I'm an operator and I know how I think. This VeeCon is 57 to 65% of my juice. I couldn't put 100 on it because I hadn't done this before at this scale. And what if we just made too many big missteps? There was just too much. So to me, 2023 VeeCon, even more than 2024, I feel like 2024 will be refinement, but there'll be a quantum step next year.
Yeah.
We have an offsite Monday here in Minnesota with the team, and we start planning 2023 Monday.
Right on.
So I feel what's expected, I think next year's is going to really take people aback, because the energy and effort that I'm going to put on it is much greater, because I needed to hold it back this year to contextualize it. I'm kind of like a boxer. Like, you better knock me out in round 1, because once I figure you out in round 1, you're fucking in trouble.
Right on. I feel you, man. I feel you. You mentioned this earlier, but I want to take it back a minute. I've heard you speak a lot about the influences on you around NFTs, right? Major influences, major people, steps along the way. But I want to know about the moment, because I know there was one, where it all clicked and that flood of ideas started coming. What was that?
I just want to take care of one of my best friends.
You got it.
In 2 seconds. So what it was a culmination of a lot of talk, and it was February 12th when I literally was at I can't actually remember. I've been dying to. I've been fucking really trying, but I can't. It's like digging for fucking gold or oil. There was nothing out of the ordinary. It wasn't a single speech or a single conversation. It was as mundane. I don't even know if I was on Twitter or Discord or had a podcast in the back. I don't know. But I know this is what happened physically. I actually stood up. And went like this and said, holy shit, this is it. Because I'd been there twice before. I was in a dorm room in my Ida College when I was like, I'm gonna sell wine on this thing. I was there when I was like, I need to videotape myself and talk about wine and do this Twitter and YouTube thing. So I've been there before, which is why this one, I had conviction the first time, I had conviction the second time. This one is like different. You know, I'm in the prime of my career, and I was like, this, and I knew it. I was like, this one's gonna be the craziest of them all. And so, February 12th, but I don't know exactly when. I just think it was like digging, and we finally hit oil.
Yeah.
And so, it was very real. And it was like this, oh, this is it. This is what the next decade is going to be about. This is what everyone's going to come to. This is what everyone's going to underestimate. This is where all the bad behavior is going to go. Yeah. Like all of it, was crystal clear. Like, you can watch the videos I put out that nailed it. Gold rush, 98% is going to zero. Bad behavior, but profound. Some of the biggest things of all time will come from it. Most will go to zero. Everyone's going to get captivated. A lot of education. This is much more Web 1 than Web 2. As tough as Twitter was to figure out, Web 1 was like a website, email, www, like people are confused out of their minds.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's what Web 3 is.
Yeah, amazing. All right, so look, we do this with all of our listeners and all of our guests, and it's called Edge Quick Hitters. It's 10 questions, man. We like to run through them for everybody. Every single person we talk to, we want to jump in.
I'm in.
All right, let's do it. Question number 1. What's the first thing you remember ever purchasing in your life?
Me purchasing it?
You purchasing it.
Bubblegum at Krauser's in Edison, New Jersey.
Rocker. You still a bubblegum guy? There it is. All right, beautiful. Question 2. What's the first thing you remember ever selling in your life?
I remember selling lemonade first. Maybe flour. I used to rip flowers out of people's yards and sell it back to them. Not my proudest day, but I think it was lemonade.
Lemonade's the move. Nice. Question 3. What's the most recent thing you purchased?
I purchased a Air Max, a pair of Nike Air Maxes the other day. I don't buy a lot of stuff. I buy sneakers for myself. I don't like stuff, but a pair of Travis Scott Air Maxes.
You rock all those sneakers, or you keep them on the shelf?
I rock them.
You rock them, nice.
I drive sneakerheads crazy. Like, why are you wearing that? I'm like, because they're sneakers.
Right. Question 4. What's the most recent thing you sold?
Well, I probably sold a VeeFriends while we were sitting here. What's the most recent thing that I sold? I mean, you know, this is what's so fun. I sell for a living. VaynerMedia just landed a huge supermarket account this week. VeeFriends sell every hour on the hour. I'm sure my best friend Brandon just pressed a button on winetext.com and sold some wine. But most of all, the most recent thing I sold was about an hour ago on stage. I sold the idea of how much opportunity there is to be happier if you just work for it and fight for it and recalibrate your perspective and surround yourself with that kind of people. I sell optimism that's practical. And I'm proud of that.
Hell yeah. Hard to put a price on that too.
Yeah.
Question 5. What's your most prized possession?
My most prized possession is a football jersey that my mother knitted for me when I was 6 years old or 5 years old, because I wanted a Jets jersey, but we didn't have money and she couldn't buy me one. So she knitted me one with the number 5, which is why I always do this. And that's my prized possession.
Beautiful. Question 6. If you could buy anything in the world, physical, digital, service, and experience that's currently for sale, what would it be?
It's currently for sale.
Yes, sir. What do you got your eye on?
I would buy time. You know, I have really struggled with private aviation because I don't like being bougie. But I'm starting to get to the place where like everything, you know, 5 admins, drive, like anything and everything that can buy. Like I don't want anything but time, just time.
Such a precious resource, man, for sure. All right, we'll flip it up a little bit. Question 7. If you could pass on one of your personality traits to the next generation, what would it be?
Patience. Fucking patience, boy. Everybody wants it right now because they're insecure. Patience.
Makes a ton of sense. Question 8. Flip side. If you could eliminate one of your personality traits from the next generation, what would that be?
I have struggled with candor one-on-one. I'm incredibly candorous as a public figure, and I've really struggled with candor as an operator. Everything that has not worked for me in my life has been because I've been unable to be candorous with the individual, and then it has led to muckery. You know, sometimes you fire somebody and they're mad at you, and I'm like, that should have never happened. They were really not great at their job and inappropriate, but my lack of candor put me in this precarious spot. Candor is important, and now that I've defined it as kind candor, I've been able to do it much better.
Right on. Question number 9, a little easier. What'd you do just before joining us on this podcast?
Another interview.
And what are you going to do next after this one?
Another interview.
My man, in the grind. Thanks so much, Gary. Appreciate it,
Thank you,
brother.
guys.